Before Keynes, economists addressed major issues from what I would call a microeconomic perspective. He brought to life a new way of thinking about the aggregate economy.
This year we're celebrating the 125th anniversary of the Economic Journal, one of the oldest economic journals in the world. What we really wanted to do with this anniversary issue was to celebrate the breadth and depth of topics that had been covered in the journal and the relevance they had to today's policy debate.
Keynes developed a different way of thinking, not simply about individual firms and individual consumers and individual agents in general, but about aggregate income, aggregate production, aggregate wages, employment in the aggregate. It led to a distinct and respectable branch of economics, macroeconomics. I mean, there were macroeconomists beforehand, but they simply reasoned on the basis of their models of individual agents. At the core of the general theory was an explanation for the high and persistent unemployment in the 1930s. The general theory was also concerned about combating a popular proposed remedy for unemployment. That proposed remedy consisted of, if only their wages were cut, unemployment would fall, full employment would be restored. So Keynes was interested prescriptively in proposing and opposing particular ways of dealing with the high unemployment problem. What was needed was an injection of what he called effective demand, an injection of expenditures that would raise the demand for goods, employ people, not tinkering with the money wage rate, but increasing the demand for products and thereby increasing the demand for labor. Are his arguments relevant today? That is a controversial question, or you'll get different answers. I believe very relevant because there is a debate among economists and, of course, among politicians as to whether a policy of tightening budgets, austerity, is the way to restore full employment. I strongly suspect Keynes would oppose an austerity approach to solving these problems. He would advocate government spending on infrastructure to put money in people's pockets that will be spent and drive up the demand for products and therefore the derived demand for labor. His arguments were controversial in the 1930s and when applied today remain controversial. It is difficult to answer how people in the future will look back on the current debate. With luck, it will say X was right, Y was wrong. But unfortunately, when we look back on episodes in the past, that simple division between a clear yes and no, well, historians themselves argue over these things and convert clear answers to, well, maybe ambiguity historians thrive on.